I would agree. We haven't seen them both show up on the same map just yet, at least on the same half. So if we do manage to get to see that, it could be quite tricky for SSG to just, you know, go through the motions. They're going to really be put to the grindstone. Couple of question marks over the way that SSG played that cafe as well. It, you know, whilst it was good and whilst they were able to get the win out there, it was by no means flawless, and there was players that we would expect a little bit more of, not necessarily showing us that same level of contribution that we've seen in the past. Now an off game here or there is nothing really to be concerned about, but you don't really want that to drag over into map number 2. Combinations of Parabellum stepping up and SSG maybe just taking the foot off the gas a little bit really could culminate in this being a bit more of a tricky one. The bans have been confirmed. We're going to see that Nook ban again, Demo.
It's something that's been a bit common over the past couple of days inside of North America. This has been, I think, this is maybe the 3rd time, I want to say, that we've seen a Nook ban. So it's certainly not like, oh, it's unusual. It's starting to become a little bit more common to say. Obviously, still like 3 bans isn't the highest, but it's something to go off. It just seems to be a personal target more than anything, I think, for SSG on the Parabellum. It's a map like Chalet where there is opportunities for crouch walk. I think it certainly is one that can favor that rat playstyle. So removing a rat operator could be quite valuable.
Absolutely. You know, you need to really look to try and deal with anyone that you think is going to be a bit of a problem, and we've already sort of theory crafted that, you know, we know the kind of player that Blaz can be, and he can be very problematic if given any sort of space to work with. There's so much crouch and, you know, sort of nooking potential here on Chalet as a map. Sometimes easier to just not deal with it at all. SSG going to be starting things off here on the defense, taking us into Bar as their first choice site. Kind of strange, because Bar was a site, I mean, it was, albeit 2 different teams, it was Leftovers and Parabellum. We saw yesterday. But Bar wasn't a very popular site at all in that series. Oh, great kill there from Esker. Put your head in harm's way when there's an LMG on the other end, and it's only ending one way.
That was the L8 though, Ollie.
Oh, the L8. I mean, it could have been an LMG for all the good that it was.
He shouldn't be peeking that. He should be peeking that. He should not be peeking that anyway. That's the bottom line. Seems as if that Gunnar actually found Rampy as he was lurking towards solar side of things. So, you know, an SSG player off by himself has been killed and nobody is there to go for the refrag. So again, sloppy from SSG to start things off with. They're still holding their ground, but this is really good pacing as well from Parabellum. Only 1:45. They've gained control of Office. They can now start looking for that utility dump in towards Blue. So yeah, this is looking really nice.
A couple of opening kills is always going to go a long way. Skies still has control of the shield at the top of Library. He's actually going to go looking for a little bit of trouble here, and he'll find it. Blaz hits him with a swing and is unfortunate to not pick off the head. You see the wall start to get open now. More burn will come through. Sky's forced down even further. He knows exactly what follows a flash, and it's usually a nade. Hot and cold. In position to take Blaz down, but a direct trade. Esker there with the cover. Finds himself a second inside of round number 1. Bosco and Skies. Long time to hold on. 55 seconds. As the floor's starting to get opened up above the site. They know they can't sit exactly inside. They've got to find a little safe haven, or as Skies is doing on the stairs, nearly takes out his teammate there, just keen for anything. Gunnar, he'll finish the job. Kool-Aid collects the last. Not quite a flawless from Parabellum, but nearly as good as.
Bosco in the hot seat there for the majority of the final couple of seconds. Just that yellow ping information. Combo that with the sledge from above, and yeah, equals a dead smoke. SSG giving it away. 2 picks. You think about that first one from Faults. No reason to peek. He's been punished for that. Should never happen. And then Rampy off by himself over towards Solar. So those 2 picks were probably easily avoidable on all accounts. And because they didn't respect Parabellum and what they can do, it means that they lose that man advantage, and then Parabellum have all the time in the world to think about what they want to do and then go from there.
Good pacing from Parabellum as well. They didn't get too far ahead of themselves there in that round after those couple of opening kills. A comment that we made about them a couple of times, Demo, has been that whilst they are efficient at getting that opening pick, they're not always able to hold on to it. It's sometimes a little bit of a problem for them where they, you know, instead of get that opening pick and then hold on, they'll, you know, start challenging things unnecessarily or just get a little bit too aggressive. Nice to see them in that round take a moment to breathe. Heading to round number 2. Not going to be re-attempting the bar site, instead going to switch it up. Take us into kitchen dining. See if SSG can hold on to that top floor a little bit more effectively than they did previous. A good way to start is not to peek an angle that is being pre-fired, which I'm sure won't happen this time. But also, one change, the Azami is going to be brought in, but it's, as quickly as we mention it, it's going to be dealt with. Gunner, he wastes no time, does he?
Nope. No time at all. It's a good start. Whenever Gunner's starting to ramp up some kills, all you know it's going to be a good game from Parabellum. So again, SSG in the back foot right off the get-go. And it's all about the pacing now from Parabellum. It's how quickly they can establish control of that upstairs logistics. You'll see for the kitchen site primarily, Trophy never gets touched. You'll see nobody try and hop in towards Trophy. The days are gone whenever Chalet, it was all about the Trophy clear out. That's done away with. It's all about kitchen. It's all about gaining control upstairs in logistics, being able to open up the floor and above, and getting a simple plant down behind the bomb chassis, because it's quite a nice blind spot that you can plant in. SSG do find 1 kill back, but really at what cost, Ollie? They've already lost 2 players for it, and look at the timing from Parabellum. Hasn't put a dent in their setup whatsoever. Blaz will take that engagement against Fultz and win it quite successfully now, 2 versus 4. Rampy and Bosco both coming back to the bomb site, but with that wall being open, it doesn't leave them with a lot of room of maneuverability, Ollie. They're going to be starved of really any space now, because Parabellum have all these long angles that just play into their favor.
Becomes incredibly difficult for SSG to really get something going now. Bosco trying to bait out the player on the window, but all the while the plant is going to be going down. Penguin is going to find a kill onto Rampy, and the second as he hops himself through the window. Players don't quite line up for him, but nearly as good as. He had an inkling that Bosco was going to be dug in behind the corner, and he would have been correct. Parabellum, 2 very convincing rounds here.
SSG had just given away that opening pick, and Parabellum then being able to run off that momentum very successfully. They're doing everything by the book, Ollie. Everything is clear-cut. It's a lot better than I think what we were seeing on Cafe, where there's a few rounds where we didn't really know what they were going for. They looked as if they didn't have any direction during some of those rounds. You can see straight away what they're going for. Everything's right to the point. We're doing this, we're getting this, we're opening this, we're doing that. Everything is clear as day.
And that's exactly what it needs to be. It needs to be militant. It needs to be checklist. Because that's exactly how SSG will play it. Can't afford to give up anything here. Parabellum have responded fantastically to that Cafe game. Got to consider that we didn't even see them find any success after they changed half. So for them to be able to bounce back, it had been a while since they'd really won a round or seen any success. Everything they were doing was just being met by SSG. And now it's almost as if the shoe's on the other foot. Now, granted, Chalet is one of the more attacker-sided maps in the pool. A lot of opportunities for attackers to take advantage of being able to maneuver defenders and get picks without fully committing to the building. Nades become a big part of that. The fact that there are so many windows and so many angles and crosses that can be held on that top floor make it a little bit difficult to find those pockets of safety, especially when you've got utility being burnt in and around. Yeah, the Dokkaebi call just ringing out there. I don't think Eska's going to get lucky on that angle again, Demo.
No, nobody should peek him. I hope not. I really hope not. Fultz gave himself up very early on. I think if SSG just go back to sitting on their hands, Don't move. We know SSG are so good at crossfires. The way they establish their refrags, Ollie, second to none. I think if they just do that, they'll have no issues. We've kind of mentioned Parabellum. The refrag game has been probably one of their biggest issues, hasn't it? That's been their weak point, is they move in one by one. Sure, somebody gets a kill, but then they get trade off straight away, but nobody is there to respond. If somebody dies from SSG, 9 times out of 10, there's somebody who will appear with a kill.
That's typically the way that it goes. Fultz finds himself as down.
He stick his head out again.
Off there by Esker. He's got himself into harm's way, hasn't he, really? Gunner's going to storm on through now into Library, but he's not even going to be required. Rampy going to be fighting his way up the stairs. Gunner, he was thirsty for anything in that round. He was coming to the aid of Esker in Library. Turns out, all he needed to do was turn his attention toward Library stairs to collect the last. Parabellum is storming away with this one. 3 rounds on the bounce.
What a great start. Complete turnaround from where they were yesterday on Chalet. I mean, Ollie, we looked at how they played against Leftovers. It wasn't even a matchup. It felt like it was just so one-sided. But now Parabellum, they've really turned on the style. And SSG, they're just getting steamed. Look at SSG. Who do you pick out?
Not really many options, is the demo?
Nope.
When does the timeout come? That's what I want to know.
That's a good point.
I would have been perfectly happy with the timeout there before we go into round 4. Try and get your heads together and figure out what's going wrong, let out a little bit of frustration, have a conversation as a team. Give you a chance to reassess what's happening. Still have a chance at salvaging an equal half. Not that there isn't that chance still now, but we typically say that a timeout is good for at least 1 round. A lot of teams will be able to rally and find the next round after a timeout.
Esker loves this balcony, doesn't he? He's always there, and for good reason. Fultz keeps gifting him kills over towards that side of the map, so he's going to keep coming back for more as best as he can. Sadly, though, Esker Fultz is not in that same position. Instead, he's downstairs on bar now, and I think it's hot and cold. He's a bit more of an aggressive stance in towards top fireplace. So Parabellum maybe just looking for a rush in. He'll ollie straight in towards office. This could be very risky for them, but I have a suspicion it actually might work for them.
Well, the Gon 6 will break down the barricade. Kool-Aid straight through. Gunner already picks himself up too. Adrenal surge just to give him a little bit of extra chance here as the plant is being covered. Fultz from below finds 1, but he's got to do a lot more than that. Plant being confirmed, 1 versus 3, and he's left scratching his head. The breach, it's not open. What's gone on? They've just rushed through balcony. Fultz maybe finds himself a little bit of a corner here, sees if he can pick off any players on the rotation.
Take the time to talk, I think.
This is not an attempt at a retake. This is an attempt at grabbing 30 seconds to talk to the team.
A little pocket strat. Works a charm for Parabellum. It just had a feeling, Ollie, that it was going to work out. It's probably the last thing I think SSG was expecting. And probably because they sent in a good few people towards Library, didn't they? Almost to bait an SSG. And SSG will see that push straight away and say, okay, they're going for Library. Generally, for that top floor, you either attack Solar Side or you attack Library. If you see people kicking about Library right off the rip, you'll give that information saying, okay, they're going for Library. There's a hefty amount of people off site. Parabellum bait them in, and then they switch the play, rush into office. Gunner leading the charge. Important opening kill in those rushes. I always think the first kill is the most important for those rushes for the attackers. Because if you lose that first man who's in, you have no idea what's going on.
I mean, if the first player through the door is a Finker demo, it's going to be very difficult, isn't it? Gunner did a great job of catching 2 kills. I'm not entirely sure how he got the kill onto the player in bathroom, I'll be honest with you. That player in the bathroom he was melting away into the wall. It was a great shot from Gunner. And then to flick onto the player inside a bedroom as well. At that point, when the first 2 have gone down and the diffuser's already halfway planted, you're just thinking to yourself, it's just a matter of time for this round. It'll be very difficult to try and retake from that. Again, SSG not bringing the timeout. I don't know if this speaks to a level of confidence or cockiness that they feel as though they can just get this done when they switch on to the attack regardless of the side switch. But they're going to have to pick up something.
Need something, anything they can. Sure, Chalet, you would favor the attackers in most occasions, but usually a 4-2 is kind of the norm. So SSG, they need to get these next 2 rounds if they have any hope of winning this map. Parabellum walk away with even a 5-1. That's going to be difficult for SSG. Difficult for any team in the world to come back from that. Just Parabellum all here to play right now. Gunner 8-2, storming away on the scoreboard. 2 kills around. That is difficult to do, but he's making it look easy.
Again, we're seeing Gunner pop off. And
There
he's
he is.
been consistent tonight so far. Picks himself up an opener. He'll pay for it this time. Fultz is there, ready and waiting. Now, how are things going to go for Parabellum without their star player, without that big fragging power that Gunner brings on the Finker? It's going to be time for somebody else to step up into those shoes. They're all very capable. But he has been storming in and getting multi-kills left, right, and centre. And without that, you are going to be a little bit lost.
Blaz, maybe looking to jump in to Trophy. Shield upstairs, that's going to be a bit of an issue. And overall, that utility's still up and alive. Even flashes his own teammates. Kool-Aid with the flashbang, in goes the nade, will secure the destruction onto the shield. Blaz finds Fultz as he's found a pick. He was lurking around Trophy for a very, very long time, and now will repel up to the solar windows. SSG not in the greatest of positions now, as they will start to be pinched from both angles. The drone work is being done, so you know there's plenty of people. Hot and Cold will find Kool-Aid. Bosco whips out the pistol. Hot and Cold swings the EMP, but Penguin will shut him down. Bosco reloads the AUG. Ready to go. Will he win it? Yes, he will. A 2 versus 2 now. Bosco keeps it rolling. He keeps on going, and Blaz is probably wondering what's just happened. Only it was a 4 versus 3, and now it's a 1v2.
Not a position you should really be finding yourself in as Blaz collects the diffuser. He's got 35 seconds to play with. There's likely going to be some destruction happening here as he sends in the Rotero drone. He's going to remove the hatch and a portion of the floor. Not got a lot of time, really, to be dealing with all this sort of fanciful drone work when you've only got a short amount of time to get the job done. 15 seconds ticks on by. Toxic Babes are going to start to slow down his approach. He has no option but to storm through. Bosco is waiting to collect. Hugging that bomb chassis. Just gets the briefest of shadows through the smoke, but he knows exactly what that is.
My goodness. This upstairs tussle ollie, Bosco played out of his skin. I would say that if Penguin's going for that kill, there needs to be that refrag. That's been the only thing that we've mentioned about Parabellum that we just haven't been sold on, is how good they can trade off one another. And I think that's just been showcased. They're still struggling with it.
And what happens when you lose the player that's going 9-3, or at the time 9-2? You are losing out on some of that early kill pressure, and early kill pressure usually results in, you know, more time in the late game, more time late round to get things done.
Rampy and Skies struggling on Chalet. I mean, Rampy this series so far has struggled big time. Only, what's that? 4 kills in the past 16 rounds, is that?
It's not looking great. Skies is having a quiet Chalet, but he popped off on Cafe. So maybe just a more matter of time for Skies before he starts getting a couple of, I mean, I'll be honest with you, there wasn't really any kills getting thrown about in the first 3 rounds because Parabellum were just so dominant. This is the time for SSG. They've got to salvage this into a 2-4.
Rampy's on the Warden though, so realistically Ying shouldn't be that much of an issue. Well, for the Warden at least. Everyone else, it's gonna be tricky, but for that one player, Rampy needs to make sure he is in the correct position. Needs to almost, as a Warden, I feel as if you need to follow the Ying. That's how I feel. I feel as if you need to kind of like predict where the Ying's going to be and make sure you're in that position. Because the Ying's just going to be sprinting through. If you're a Warden, yeah, that's going to be the best surprise, because he ain't going to move in through just expecting that nobody can see her, and all of a sudden, bang, the warden standing there with the goggles on, and you've been killed.
Is this like the follow the ball game at the fairground where there's 3 cups and 1 ball?
It's like a game of tag.
Just a game of tig.
That's it.
Gunner.
Go, Gunner.
Doesn't waste any time.
Dear.
Gets full white flashed by his own Ying and taken down. That has not worked at all. You don't need some fancy glasses to pick that one up. Hot and cold. He's going to find one onto Penguin. Parabellum falling apart here on that approach. Some terrible timing. Blaz will see a bit of success. Manages to pick up a cheap kill over onto Fultz. Caught looking the wrong way. It's not the entire man count regained, but it's something to level it out. Blaz picks himself up a second. Blaz going seriously unchecked here. Kool-Aid is going to have a line of sight on through. Can he look to try and take advantage of it? You can see that a large portion of the site is going to be clear here, but he needs to give a bit more of a thorough drone to get a full picture as to what exactly is going on.
He's
concerned by Rampy's C4 at the moment.
Yeah, they still have plenty of time here, and not only the fact that he knows the office is clear is going to be a massive boost. And with Blaz downstairs, I'm sure with some information, maybe a drone being left behind, they can definitely stop anyone with a C4 below. Rampy, you see the C4 is out of his inventory at the moment. Hot and Cold has somehow proned his way through into office now, so they are in a better position to try and deny that plant going down, but it's still not the greatest of positions. Skies has the shotgun inside a piano. The warden goggles will see through the smoke, will catch the twitch. That is a great use of the gadget. Eska tries to cover now. It's a 1 versus 1 diffuser. Is Cold on the ground. Rampy sees the lineup. We said he hasn't had a good series, but Ollie, he makes up for it with a great round. 2 massive kills from the warden.
Doesn't matter how many kills you've got before that round, you need to get those 2. And Rampy did just exactly that. Salvage the 2-4 split here. As you said at the time, fantastic use of the goggles. Keeping himself nice and still, getting that full sight picture. And then just not overcommitting. Letting Eska walk to him. The diffuser's cold and Rampy knows it. Managing to keep his head cool there in the clutch. Bit of momentum here for SSG. It's definitely what they needed after the start of this map. Managed to find themselves 2 rounds on the defense. Now the hard work really starts for Parabellum. They've got a lead. They've got to now keep it.
SSG's done well to pull things back. It was not looking good at all. 4-0, sitting there thinking, wow, how does it get better for SSG? Well, they've shown us. They have shown us. You have to look at that last round, though, Ollie, from Parabellum. Just that opening. That opening was the real issue. Executing through, and you're using the Yings. I get you use the Ying to, you know, obviously aggress on, flash out as many defenders as you can, but it should be the Ying going in first, not the Finka. Why is the Finka going in? Finka isn't immune to the flashes. And that was shown.
Yeah, Gunner knows how Candelas work as well. That's just... It's a heat-of-the-moment mistake that you look back on and you know that it's silly. Was it a misplay from Gunner? Did he mistime the jump in? Did he get miscommunicated to as to exactly when the Candela was going in or going off? Whatever the disconnect, it can't be allowed to continue because things like that really start to become quite costly. I don't think it's any sort of, you know, coincidence that the 2 rounds that SSG picked up were rounds where Gunner got picked off extremely early.
So now we switch over to the attacks for SSG. The attacks were very good from them on Cafe. Defenses were not the speciality for Parabellum on that map. Let's see if things are going to change for them on Chalet. Guys, that's a Claymore just in the middle of a doorway. Wouldn't be surprised if it finds somebody just because of how weird it is. It's, you know, usually you would see that as that's a bad Claymore, but it's that bad that it's actually good.
It's like bad frost mats. There's no such thing. There is no such thing as a bad frost mat. There's no such thing as a bad Claymore. The more weird and wonderful the placement, the more likely they are to get pulled off because you're just not expecting them at all. Flores going to be sent on through to try and deal with some of those Kibas that have been placed up, some of those Azami concrete barriers, of which there's going to be no more. Rampy, it's a great pick there over onto Gunner. He knew exactly what was happening there. The communication between him and Fultz, second to none. Tries to pre-fire his way a second in through onto the bathroom. Great C4 from Esker. Does something to shut down Fultz's aggressive push on this top floor. Skies still dueling. He knows that there's somebody inside of Solarium. At least there was recently. Rampy on the bathroom as well. They're all trying to converge onto this location. Pre-fire through the wall is hot and cold. He's getting a bit more site-centric, looking to focus his aggression a little bit harder. 30 seconds here for SSG to play with. There's still enough time. 4 versus 3. They need to start getting themselves set up for the next stage of the plan. A kill traded 1 for 1. Bosco finds the re onto Kool-Aid. Penguin rotating back on into sight. Rampy, what a great pick there onto Blaz. Had to hit the drop shot just to guarantee it. It's going to be Bosco to finish things off. Makes his way down those trophy stairs. I didn't even see that player through that broken wall demo. I'm not going to lie.
They did. That's all that matters. When's the last time you seen SSG just go for kills? That's what it was, wasn't it? It was not plant orientated at all. It was just pick off as many people as you could and win the round on man count. Whenever I see faults in the Flores, he's so good on that operator, isn't he? It's a real signature for him. He's in his element. Just being able to push in those drones, clear out the Azami, give a freebie over towards that Finka, over towards Rampy and the piano window. It's just a work of art. It really, really is. And then SSG from there, they have the upstairs control. They start then just finding their picks. It's probably the only issues I think Kitchen and Bar, both of them really suffer from, is as soon as that upstairs control is in favor of the attackers, there's nowhere safe to sit. It's so difficult. You just get pushed out of the bomb site, and then it's really easy to plant because there's just so many things you can plant behind. I mean, Chalet, in terms of attacking it, I think the reason why it is a little bit more attacker-sided is it has really good plant positions. You think about the plant positions on each main bomb site. Yeah. They're all in really safe position. You have half wall for upstairs. You think about the basement. You have that little, where the barrels are inside a wine. You can get yourself tucked in to a corner in there. Really strong. Obviously, Bar has the big long bar you can plant behind at any time. And then for Kitchen, you have that bomb chassis and that dining table. Just really strong positions you can plant in with very little downsides.
They're also great post plants as well. You can really get yourself safe.
Just back off, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah, you can watch a lot of it from outside. Always is a benefit.
It's just easy to get the
being
plant
brought
down.
this time. We kind of mentioned the frost, didn't we, in the previous round demo?
You said there's not a bad one.
If he can, there isn't a bad one. I mean, we'll find out if there's a great one, if Blaz gets himself a pick. Oh, unfortunate there for Gunnar. I think he just missed his Kiba. Been downed. Nade going to get sailed on in.
ADS.
Not going to connect, though.
At least he's up. Could have been worse. Could have just died outright, but he's still alive and kicking. But it's good amount of damage being done to Gunnar. Skies is looking just to slip in now as he's going to push in from below up towards the bottom of blue stairs. Will catch Penguin. Oh, but doesn't see Aska. He just sat in Bar. Parabellum. Sitting in these weird positions is working out for them. More drone work needs to be done by SSG. I think that was shown there. This guy just gets picked off where really if just one drone was sent in, maybe it would have been a free kill to SSG instead because Eska was not in a good position at that stage. Caught between a rock and a hard place. One guy pushing in from Bar, one guy outside the main door looking in towards lobby. So yeah, drone work needs to be checked there by SSG.
Around that minute and 10 point in the round. Rampy going to get himself up onto the balcony, see if there's any angles that he can find through bathroom and through into solar. Potential to have a little look into the old piano room as well, but he won't get further than checking the bathroom. Gunner immediately taken down. Rampy, bit of a magnet for the kills in the past couple of rounds, considering he didn't do much on the defense. He got two really important ones. A couple of rounds of attack have been by, and he's already got himself up to 5 and a level 5-5, so really providing that value, particularly since getting onto the Finker. Esker going to try and deal with that Ossa shield. Instead, we'll turn around and deal with Rampy. The impact goes out, but it's not going to be enough. The plant is still going down. He tries to aggress, but Piano is being held by Bosco. Bosco keeps himself alive. The plant has been stopped for the time being. 1 versus 3 here for Blaz. Kool-Aid down and unlikely to be recovered. Kool-Aid just trying to advance forward and gather a little bit of information for his teammate. Kool-Aid wasn't able to gather sufficient info.
Very strong from SSG, a great attack, good work in the early game. And from there, like we mentioned, Ollie kind of talked about how easy it is to plant. And I think whenever you have the Ossa shields in way of that also, it just makes it just 10 times easier for not only getting the plant down, but that post-plant as well.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
Well done, we're at 4-4.
We are indeed.
There was a time in this game where it didn't feel like we were going to get here.
Parabellum won 4 in a row. SSG have won 4 in a row.
Oh, how the turns have tabled.
The only difference is SSG won defenses, which Parabellum have not done yet.
There's still time. There is still time. Parabellum do need to start finding some success here, though.
They go downstairs. This was the only bomb site. This is actually the only round that they won yesterday against Leftovers and Chalet. Was this bomb site?
5 seconds left before insertion.
That's all we can talk about. That's it. That's the only thing Parabellum did well yesterday. Was they won this site once.
I mean, they did other things well.
7-1, did they?
They did the other maps well. They just didn't do Chalet particularly well.
Yeah.
It's got to be in the back of your mind as well as SSG, knowing how badly Parabellum got beaten yesterday on this very map. It's got to give you that sort of little bit of a confidence boost. It's a bit of a buff, whether you know it or not, to how you're feeling about this one. Rampy trying something there with a nade. Gets the call from his teammate that, actually, no need. It's one of the things that Rampy is incredible for, and, you know, we spoke about this previously, Demo, is the ability with the grenades. Now, I've always been a big advocate, if you're going to play somebody, you need to know that operator inside and out. If they've got 2 nades, you need to know exactly how you're going to be using them, how every single element of the nade, how many seconds you need to cook it for, where in the time you need to throw it to be able to hit the wall, how far away you need to be, all of these different things. And Rampy knows exactly that. He is so consistent with these up nades.
Yeah, the entries need to be proficient in their nade works. Like, gone are the days where it was only really the flex players who had to worry about getting good grenades going in. Now it's the entries who need to do all that whenever Finka and Iana are so dominant as the 2 primary entries, both of which having grenades, you need to be on your game for it. Rampy was 0-5, now he's 6-6. He is pulled back magnificently in this game, Ollie, and this is where you start to worry if you're Parabellum, because if Rampy's playing well, you're in for a world of hurt, and everyone else, I think, just gets uplifted by that. Just that fact of knowing that Rampy's here to play, it's such a confidence boost for SSG.
Look at what SSG have been able to do up to this point. You know, Rampy didn't have a great game on Cafe. They still won Cafe. They've still managed to get themselves level. Obviously, he's had a big part to play about that since getting onto the attack. But everything just gets so much easier when we start getting expected performance out of players. Fultz finds an important frag onto Penguin. Skies is at it again with that skeleton key. I can hear it on the other side of the map, Demo. It's going to be hot and cold to pick up that last kill. Parabellum. No more. They need a pause. They need to take stock here. Everything is on the line. And SSG, they're only 2 rounds away.
What a round. Hands of a surgeon, the way SSG cut across that defense. They played it slow, they played it patient. The information in that early game to get Rampy his opening kill with the nades. Fultz being able to play off that hard destruction, peeking with the twitch. And that's one thing that SSG done very well, was realize that, hey, there is a shed load of reinforced walls. If we open them up, it's going to be so difficult for anybody in Parabellum to sit in a safe position. And you've seen that from Parabellum. Nowhere was safe. Nowhere was safe, and that's where they were getting picked off from.
Is a timeout enough here for Parabellum to right their wrongs? They're going to be going down to Bar and Gaming as their site choice. I think for SSG, they're not going to be too concerned where it is at this point. Attacker repick or not, they're going to be moving through with confidence, knowing that we have got them on the back foot. We have got them rattled here. SSG have managed to take control of the map, find themselves in the lead for the first time so far here on Chalet. Can they extend that lead to a match and series point?
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Big round now for Parabellum. This either gets them back into the game, and we get a 5-5, or SSG, that momentum just keeps building, and that Rios has done absolutely nothing. Very important round. Very, very important round now. SSG, they've brought in the Ying Ollie. They've got the Lion. They've got the Jackal. Only one form of hard breach, and it's not the most traditional form. It's the Maverick. So you would expect the SSG are going to be playing very quick with the executes. I would say probably into library and then straight into the bomb site. That would probably be the fundamentals that they should go for. Oh, they could be going for the M&M strat, Ollie, where you try and get the Maverick in below, move up towards the lobby stairs, and Maverick open the single wall inside of the stockroom, inside of the connector. And whenever you Maverick that open, you clear away that very strong position, and then you could just jump in the double window and plant with ease.
Lion Scan comes out. We do see this wall now get opened as well. Fultz was putting a bit of shot through that as it was happening. Parabellum, they likely know what comes next here. Do they anticipate it being a Ying? SSG just going to rotate themselves round. They don't need to rush this. That's one of the beautiful things about a rush round, is that it doesn't need to all happen inside of the first minute. You can still rush at any point. It just depends on when you put that pressure on and how quickly everything starts to fall into place. SSG biding the time. By no means do they need to throw this one away lightly. Fultz is just going to be playing flank watch downstairs as a little bit of work starts to go on now in library. That's where Bosco is going to be focusing a little bit of his attention for the meantime. Candelas likely going to get sent out. They need to try and deal with the player that's going to be tucked into the corner.
Nades getting tossed in, and that's actually maybe a bit of a bait there for Rampy then to maneuver in, find the kill, but a good C4 in return will catch Rampy as he tried to get out of there. So 4 versus 4, a minute to go. SSG are very spread out, Ollie. It's like the 4 corners of the wins is where they're at. What are they going to go for? I really do not know. It looks to be the double window is where their attention is drawn towards. They still have the utility with the Ying Ollie. The Candelas have to nail it. Bosco has to try and get this diffuser down as well, as he is the carrier.
We hear the Lion Scan go out. Sky's caught inside a mudroom. Needs to open the barricade before he can do all too much. Fultz picks one up onto Esker. Skies managed to avoid the majority of the Candelas there, but didn't avoid Blaz. Blaz with the swing. He will be instantly traded. Gunner still upstairs in library. That's a player that SSG have been unable to shift inside of there. Kool-Aid finds himself 2 really important kills. He was full white flash for the second one as well. Hot and Cold has to do it all. Picks himself up 1, grabs the kit, 10 seconds. Gunner has rotated inside of main lobby now, inside of the fireplace, and Hot and Cold has no clue where he is. Gunner, all you got to do is move on through. You can't let the plank go down, and he won't.
That was close.
Down to the wire stuff there. I wonder if Hot and Cold had just hit a flick of a headshot. That could have potentially gone SG's way.
He hit him. If he had another second to get another shot off, then I think Gunner would have went down, but still Parabellum hold on. So, the timeout has worked for the meantime. But then again, SSG, I wouldn't say played that the greatest. Probably not the idea that they had there with that strategy.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
Losing Rampy with that C4 that was tossed out by Yaska was very important. I think probably SSG were relying on Rampy then to be in a strong position, keep him alive, then use him to maybe burst in with the Ying or give cover, whatever you need him to do. So I think losing Rampy was a slight issue. And SSG just really couldn't find a way of how they wanted to take that approach and how they wanted to attack.
Five all square.
10 seconds left.
This is where it starts to get a little bit scary. Parabellum.
5 seconds left.
They've managed to find one round. As we mentioned, a timeout is usually good for a round. It's then on the team to roll that momentum into another, and potentially another if it's required, and in this instance, it would be. Still the potential to go to overtime in this game, which is, I would wager, the more likely outcome at this point, Demo. Especially with what's on the line. Parabellum. Next 2 rounds could define everything for them here. We've already mentioned such a young side, you know, recent pickups of Gunnar and Blaz. You need to be
Here we go.
giving it your all and giving it your best, and SSG, they're just going to throw the kitchen sink at it and be met by Kool-Aid. 40 seconds, Demo? What's going on? We've got 4 players dead.
They didn't throw the kitchen sink, they threw the round ollie. That's what they did. Jumping in through West Main. Don't know what they were thinking. And SSG, they had a lead. It looks to be all of a sudden Parabellum are back in it. 6-5, they should lead unless they toss this round away. A counter throw, perhaps. This guy has the LMG, and yep, not even a chance. Parabellum somehow have been gifted a round, and that puts them on match point, Ollie. What's going on from SSG?
There's got to be question marks as to why that round played out the way that it did. SSG haven't needed to play the previous 2 rounds in the fashion that they've played them in. Things were working well for SSG on their attacks. They weren't needing yings, they weren't needing rush rounds, they weren't needing these sort of things. Just going through the motions was enough. Now they find themselves in a real tough spot. They could have dealt with this in a very straightforward way, and they still can. But for the meantime, Parabellum are the team that are on a match point and threatening to take this to another map.
I have no idea how this is gonna go. So we do head into this office and bedroom site. Last time SSG, they were pulling at the Ossa, which helped them a lot in that kind of post-plant position. Even just getting the plant down, it helped them out. Not this time, though. Much more atypical lineup from what we're used to seeing from SSG. A lot of strong entries. We're not only seeing just a Finka, but even the Yana comes in from hot and cold. And Fultz on that floor is, of course, that staple operator. He's always going to get good value out of him. Especially whenever you look at how dominant these Kiva barriers can be from Gunnar, who has taken a bit of a liking to Azami. Just being able to move in, and look at all that utility you can destroy. It's great. Hot and cold does some good information. Sees one on the top fireplace. So SSG, they're slowly getting the pieces together, Ollie. They just need to fit them together.
It's like when you turn the jigsaw upside down, or the jigsaw box upside down on the dining room table, and yeah, all the pieces are here. Let's build the edge first. Start with the sky. It's usually nice and straightforward. Now you just got to go through and tick everything off. Rampy, he's going to start. Takes Penguin down. Is he going to be able to find a second? Not looking to work too far ahead of the drones. Conscious, of course, of the flanks as well. Belt and braces stuff from SSG. They understand that they've maybe let a couple of rounds slip here. They can't afford to do the same inside of this one, not with Parabellum threatening a third map. Wall going to start to get open now as well. Sky's got a bit of a line of sight. Maybe find a bit further round if he looks through into Piano, but Gunnar is going to be there, ready and waiting. Fultz now tries to take that up. Hot and cold from below, just going to try and remove a little bit of utility. Likely a mute jammer that's stopping those Ixcaros pellets from going off. All of this is doing quite a great deal to slow SSG down.
Minutes ago, in terms of denial, still one C4 from Blaz that can be tossed out. Either from below or just from sight. Rampy maybe looking to rotate towards his favorite window. That piano window, it's a signature position he likes to get himself into. Can create those crossfires and apply pressure to the man inside a piano. But SSG is going to wait, get the drone work done. Flores drones as well being sent in. Piano will be clear. Good information being found out by Bosco. Let's see if they can capitalize off that. Rampy opens up the bathroom window, but I just think they need to try and eliminate this man inside a piano. As Fault just walks in. Kool-Aid will be burned alive. Rampy gets shot down. Bosco finds Eska. Hot and Cold's also in the site. Bosco with 3 in the round. A massive 2 kills back to back. Bosco gonna try and get the C4 down. Blaz, can he land the C4? Yes, he can. Bosco's down. Diffuser cold. Hot and Cold up against Blaz in a 1v1. We'll try and plant behind the Kiba barrier. Blaz isn't moving. Doesn't have the information. Now it's gonna be a 1 versus 1. Diffuser planted. Oh, look at this. The Kiba barrier in favor of Hot and Cold. Goes to the swing and wins it. Oh, Blaz was too slow on the approach. Hot and Cold, he takes the plunge. That's a perfect 10 out of 10 dive. SSG alive and well. They're still in it, Ollie. We go to overtime.
Overtime is where we end up. We had an inkling that it was going to end up in an overtime here. Very back and forth between these two teams. Not in terms of every single round. Both teams have been on streaks. Parabellum have really pulled it out of the bag when they had to. Bringing it to an overtime. And SSG, well, keeping themselves in it. Still a chance to get this done here and now on Chalet for SSG. They've got to run it back. They're going to be starting the overtime on attack. I would say that that favors them. Their attacks have been, for both teams, miles better than their defensive rounds. What a clutch to take us into OT as well. Hot and Cold. I honestly thought when I saw the C4 below, I was like, Blaz has to have this. Like, Hot and Cold has to play very good siege from here on out to come away with the win.
As well as Hot and Cold did to win that 1v1, which you have to credit him for, what Bosco was able to do.
Yeah, I mean, Bosco moved, yeah.
Just moves on him like nobody's business. Slips in, 2 kills, massive 2 kills, opens up the site. I think Blaz, yeah, really, we see him got that C4 kill. Sure, that was a given, but then slowing down on the approach up the blue stairs was really surprising because naturally the first instinct for Hot and Cold, as soon as Bosco goes down, is he needs to then plant.
Yeah.
He's never going to be expecting, oh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit and wait at blue stairs, wait for Blaz to run up. Nobody's that big brain, are they?
Speaking of big brains, Demo, we were having a chat with our wonderful analysts prior to going into this game, and Jesse said that it was going to be a 7-0 to SSG. I asked him if he was joking. I thought he was pulling our legs, and he was, nope. I'm guaranteeing it. It's going to be a 7-0. I was like, you do realize you've just cursed this game to go to overtime, don't you? He was like, nope, don't believe in curses. Well, here we are.
He's Canadian Judas. He doesn't have faith in Canadians, and even though he
doesn't have faith in
even though he
Parabellum,
is one,
yeah.
he is Judas.
So, here we go. Potentially going to all 15 to find out who's going to be winning this map. I think the SSG being able to roll that momentum through, you know, obviously they've just come off their attacking phase, now they get attacking OT. That's got to be massive for them, Demo.
It is. It certainly is. How do SSG want to approach this? That Kiba barrier will keep Rampy at bay. Cuts off a lot of his vision. Has to use a nade. Mentioned before about these barriers, Ollie. Just have to waste nades in them, which is so... Yeah, it just feels bad, doesn't it? It feels bad to waste a nade on a Kiba barrier where you'd much rather use that on the shield or simply to get a kill.
We're going to see a hop in here from Rampy, guys. Hot and Cold and himself have already picked up a kill apiece. SSG just flicks the switch there and they said, yep, now is the time. Take your challenges. The site is going to be getting opened up above Kool-Aid. Rampy is going to pick himself up yet another. Kool-Aid stops it from being a flawless. He's got a bit of information to use here, but 45 seconds. Going to get taken down from the window. Bit of unfortunate timing there, but it was coming whether he liked it or not. SSG going to call a timeout of their own, Demo.
Okay.
That's a funky timeout. I know that SSG are known for funky bans.
I mean, when else are you going to use it? When else are you going to use it?
There is no other time. If this all goes to plan, SSG get the win here and it's all over.
SSG round that we just witnessed, everyone managed to find a man, didn't they? We've seen free kills come in, what, the space of a second between one another? And whenever that happens, then there's two people left on site from Parabellum. It's like, oh, it's a 2v5. What's happened? Because everyone in SSG just found an individual pick. Just that bar and stock has not been, bar and game should say, it hasn't been the greatest, Ollie. It's been very hit or miss. And there's a miss for the defense. So SSG, look at their site selection, Ollie. They can go anywhere. Anywhere they want. Kitchen is the choice. Haven't they been rolled in Kitchen?
I mean, everybody got rolled everywhere on defense. At least once. So I don't think that there's a favorable side to go to here. This really comes down to personal preference. Obviously, with the timeout prior, this could be an opportunity for SSG to show us one of their many pocket strats, although on the defense, pocket strats do have a little bit less impact. You really just got to set your stall and let the attackers come to you. Let's see if they can get it done here and now. Avoid going to maximum overtime, and of course avoiding the need for another map in this best of 5.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
A lot on the line here for Parabellum as well. We've got to remember that, you know, for all that we've spoken about, that, you know, Gunnar and Blaz are new pickups and they've come in and seemingly hit the ground running, Demo. This is still, you know, quite a big showing for them. They're going toe-to-toe with one of the best in North America, and they're doing it for a spot at a LAN finals.
5 seconds to insertion. Attackers are heading out to defuse.
Here we go. Here we go. SSG. Onto the kitchen they go. A lot of stuff that Parabellum need to go through, Ollie. You've got the concrete barriers, you've got the castle, barricades, even Maestro cameras are going to soak up a bit of explosive damage also. And whenever you filter in a Wamai to assist with that, yeah, there's a lot that Parabellum have to chew through. They've also brought in the IQ, Ollie. For what reason, I don't know. No Valkyrie being shown by SSG, no real electronics apart from Maestro cameras. So, the way you look at IQ as well, yes, a good operator, we know it's a good operator only, but if you look at the lineup it's up against, she doesn't bring anything that's going to help with the utility clear. She doesn't have any throwables.
Yeah, I mean, it brings the G8, but is that really
it's the commando here.
For?
It's the commando.
Oh, he's rocking the commando even, so it's not even that. Certainly a strange choice. There's a lot more that you could bring that would be of benefit. Gunnar immediately going to get keyboard off there of the bathroom. Nothing that a couple of quick melee strikes won't sort out.
Attackers have located
Hot and Cold knows that he's going to be there. Got to be careful where you move in and around that bathroom now. As soon as the Thinker, or whoever it is for that matter, gets onto that balcony, it does cut through the map in some ways. Another keyboard barrier going to be placed. Not a bad way of burning through them, really. It's a little bit timely, but still going to maintain that angle.
Not a lot of time. Minute 15 to go. Parabellum need to start looking for some pits. So you can see that they're not wanting to aggress as what they've showcased in the past. They're very, very patient, but SSG are not wanting to move. Penguin will open up with 2 kills. 2 massive kills. Almost catches a third as Rampy gets out of dodge. A minute to go, and that's a great start. Penguin, who we kind of commended, Ollie, on Cafe, can make those great individual moments, and, well, he showcased that here in Chalet.
Big playmaker, without a doubt. Not always the most consistent flashy kill, or kill go-getter, but certainly when it counts.
Whenever nothing's going on, he's there to make something happen.
Sometimes you just got to make the play, and I think that's the situation Parabellum found himself in. Skies, he's getting chunked down as Fultz falls next to him. Skies knows someone's going to be coming on through here, but you can't contend with a full HP Gunnar. Rampy. 5 kills. Could be on. Picks up 3, 4. Blaz takes him down. Demo. That was nearly one of the greatest moments we've seen.
And that would have been Diffuser cold on the ground as well, Ollie. He killed the Diffuser carrier in the midst of that. Oh, I actually think he got shot as well, not only from Blaz, but the other remaining player also. So I think he was dead either way if Blaz wasn't there. Round 15.
We're going to all 15.
We're all 15, Des.
I'm not Des.
I didn't say that.
You put me on blast yesterday.
That was Tim. That was Tim.
Have you just woken Tim up from his slumber just to give us his one-liner?
Yep.
Good stuff from Parabellum. They are fighting. There is no mistake. And it all comes down to this one round that is going to be played out on Kitchen to decide if we need to see more of these two teams playing off. Next map's going to be Oregon. It's going to be a Parabellum pick if we get to it. SSG starting on the defense. And then if we so need it, we do have Border lined up for our fourth map. Of course, best of 5. The remainder map out of the when all the picks and bans are said and done, in this case was Theme Park, and that's the automatic win credits to SSG. Due to the fact they came through the upper bracket, they get the one map advantage here.
Slightly worried for SSG Ollie because I'm seeing this Ying come in, and we've seen them. We see exactly that. That's it. We haven't seen great value from the Ying at the moment. I mean, both teams have tried to implement a Ying, and it just hasn't worked. Sky's a huge opening pick. Gunner, the best player for Parabellum, is off the board so early on, and Ollie. Same way Wamai regenerates those discs, and we talk about, oh, you have to make sure Wamai is staying alive. Equally for Azami, you're not going to be regenerating those barriers now.
And you got to think about who it's taken out as well. It's taken out Gunner. 14 kills so far. He's getting a kill every single round. That's very valuable. And now you're going to be missing out on that. There's some slack to be picked up here from the remaining members of Parabellum. They haven't got the most utility you would like out of him. Sure, he can sit on some of the Valkyrie cameras that are probably kicking around, but it's by no means ideal. Wall now going to get opened up into office. Rampy getting himself onto one of his signature positions. We can see a silhouette of somebody inside a bathroom, and Skies is going to be holding that as well. So SSG really stacking up on this balcony. Blaz is going to be the next player to fall.
He's went for the swing. He's tried to get a kill back for his side, but it hasn't worked out, and the LMG just sprayed for all it's worth. But there's Rampy with a second LMG. Parabellum have crumbled under the pressure of the double LMGs. Eskin out a 1v5. What can he do? The C4 goes amiss. He walks into Westmain, into the sightline of Skies. SSG dismantle the final defense for Parabellum. Whoo, Ollie, that's how you clean it up.
It really is. And that's the kind of team that SSG have been throughout this competition. They have been all guns blazing or trying